He says Sanitise was dozing off, Abi. I was told that Awolowo did not reshuffle his cabinet. So the young man went and said, Papa, everybody wants you to reshuffle this cabinet, and people are complaining. Awolowo said, cabinet reshuffle is not as easy as you think it is. Because if you remove somebody from Ijebu, you must find a replacement who has come from Ijebu. If you replace somebody from Egba, if you remove somebody from Egba, so it's not very easy. But by the way, young man, since you work with me, if I were to reshuffle my cabinet, who do you think should go? And the young man said, A, B, C, D. Baba said, why would they go? He said, Baba, anytime we're having a serious meeting, they're always sleeping or dozing. And then Baba laughed. He said, those are the men who stay with me overnight, who have decided what I've called every other person to come and debate. In other words, those people who you think are sleeping were with me throughout the night. So Anthony Fossey was with me throughout the night. So what you are getting now, you already gotten it. Thank you. And Guardian, I want to see and you hear that? What's it on? Finish. Finish. There's no like you don't understand. Okay, thank you very much. I'm surprised that we are meeting for the first time this year. It shows how fast this year is moving and things are actually happening. Honestly, the government has been very busy this year, and I think the things have happened that year. I can't remember any year in recent times where the world has witnessed the kind of changes we are witnessing today, whether it's coronavirus, whether it's global change, global warming, or whether it's, I think it's evidence that things have been moving and very fast. But as usual, I'm very glad to meet and exchange views with you. What we try to do is to talk on a few topics. I've picked a few topics at least from my own perspective that I think we need to comment about. But I must also not miss the opportunity to please thank you for the cooperation we received from you, not just last year, even before last year ended. And I think we are very convinced that this fortnightly meeting is beneficial to all. I will start first with this, what we've noticed, which we call spike in fake news and disinformation. There has been a spike in the dissemination of fake news and the use of disinformation in recent times. This is not accidental. This is because fake news, disinformation, and hate speech have become the weapon of choice to create tension in the polity and stabilize the country. And those behind this fake news, hate speech, and disinformation, they're not about to stop. Because for some of them, the 2019 elections are not over. In fact, they are still stuck in the pre-election mode. And that's why they continue to use these weapons to put Nigeria on edge. Yes, we have security challenges, but the good news is that we're tackling them head on. But the challenges of security are actually being aggravated by fake news and disinformation in particular. Those behind this campaign of fake news and disinformation have also deployed new tactics. top of which is the recycling of old items and videos. A good example is the video that was making the round about 2 weeks ago about 400 young men suspected to be Boko Haram insurgents who were actually apprehended in Abia State. But this happened 2014. And 2 weeks ago, the same video came back. And it created a lot of panic in the polity. The intention is very simple: to ensure that the country is on edge, to continue to create tension and panic around the country. There are many other instances of fake news. I think only 2 days ago, Federation had to come out to say that the president is not traveling to the UK for 20 days. There was this fake news that the president is traveling to UK for 20 days, after which he's going to produce to Saudi Arabia and Austria. If the president travels for 20 days in 1 month, and after that proceeds to Austria and Saudi Arabia, then what is left in the year? But of course, the intention is clear, just to paint the impression that the president does not stay at home, the president is not serious. Of course, there was also the one where it was alleged that the Minister of Transportation, Mr. Rotimi Amici, was attacked at the Rigasa train station in Kaduna. It never happened. Or that the Nigerian Air Force killed 250 Boko Haram insurgents. Never happened. Of course, there was also the one that yesterday that was making the round, that the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy is planning to unveil some new communication regulations aimed at recording all calls, monitoring WhatsApp, Twitter, and Facebook. I mean, these are deliberate, disinformation, fake news, and they have one purpose: to make this, government very unpopular. And make no mistake about it, it's not just government that are the victims of fake news, disinformation, or hate speech. Private citizens have also been, victims, not just here, but everywhere in the world. We will continue to appeal to Nigerians to be circumspect in believing or circulating this fake news, as we did when we launched our national campaign against fake news in 2018. We're also pushing ahead with our plan to sanitize the social media, working with all stakeholders. By March 2nd this year, we will inaugurate the Stakeholders Committee that will deliberate and recommend the way forward. We're also planning a major international conference that will bring together the tech companies, media practitioners, policy makers, and others as part of efforts to tackle this growing menace. Last week, I met with representatives of Google and Facebook for the same purpose. The situation is there, and no nation that values its peace, security, and stability will allow an irresponsible use of the social media. Insecurity. As I said earlier, the country is facing security challenges, but those challenges are being tackled headlong. However, there have been some red herrings in recent times, including those calling for the resignation of Mr. President. I just want to say that sorry, may I just take that again? I just said, as I said earlier, the country is facing security challenges, and challenges are being tackled headlong. However, there have been some red herrings in recent times, including those calling for the resignation of Mr. President. I want to advise all commentators, especially political and religious leaders, to be very careful at this time not to aggravate the situation with incendiary comments that cast on our religious, ethnic, and political fault lines to further divide the country. The kind of comments that have been attributed to some leaders recently, especially religious leaders, are incendiary and reckless. Leaders should be part of solutions to problems rather than aggravating situations. To those asking Mr. President to resign, I wish to say this very clearly. Mr. President will not resign. He has the overwhelming mandate of Nigerians to preside over the affairs of the country, the expiration of his tenure on 29th of May 2023. I also want to comment on the disruption of international flights to Lai Mohammed International Airport in particular. In recent times, some international flights built for the Lai Mohammed Airport in Lagos have diverted to other airports within and outside the country due to the adverse weather conditions at the airport. This has led to a debate on the state of the navigational aids of the airport. First, let me apologize to all our citizens and other travelers who have had to endure inconveniences resulting from the diversion of their flights. This is highly regretted. I also like to quickly take us through what caused the problem. The federal government, in its commitment to passenger safety and security, recently took decision to upgrade the navigational facilities at some major airports across the country. Consequently, navigational aids at airports in Lagos, Abuja, Kano, Port Harcourt, Asaba, etc. were all marked for an upgrade from Category 2 instrument landing system to Category 3 to top of the class Category 3 ILS. In the first phase, the Category 3 ILS was procured and installed in Lagos and Abuja. In addition, the government procured the calibration aircraft instead of renting one each time for $500,000. Both Abuja and Lagos airports were calibrated. The Category 3 ILS is working perfectly here in Abuja. But after calibration, some incorrect readings were noticed in the Category 3 ILS at the MMA in Lagos. Just as it was about to be recalibrated, the weather situation in Lagos changed for the worse. Hence, this disruption of international flights into Lagos. Some airlines opted to divert their flights to Kotoko International Airport in Accra, Ghana, which, by the way, does not even have a Category 3 ILS, but where the weather was not as adverse as that in Lagos. Many travelers bound for Nigeria became stranded. Again, this is much regretted. Of course, the same flights could have been diverted to Abuja, which has a perfectly functioning Category 3 ILS, and where flights to Lagos are regular, but they instead chose to fly to Accra. Some commentators have alleged that perhaps the Category 3 ILS was not bought or installed in Lagos and Abuja. This is not true. The equipment was indeed procured and installed in both airports. But for the hitch I referred to earlier, there would have been no disruptions at the Lai Mohammed International Airport. accusation of ineptitude against aviation officials is misplaced. Otherwise, the Abuja Category 3 ILS would not have been working perfectly now. May I also inform you all that a number of airports around the world, even in the advanced countries, don't even have Category 3 ILS. This is because they feel that because adverse weather is only for a short period in a year, they don't feel that the kind of huge cost that is associated is justified. Even the Kotoka International Airport that most flights were diverted to does not have a Category 3 ILS. When the Category 3 ILS in Lagos ran into a hitch, Category 2 ILS at the runway 18R International Runway remained the only option. But with Category 3 ILS, pilots can only land their plane with a minimum visibility of 800 meters, compared to zero visibility if it were a Category 3 ILS. However, we must know that the weather phenomena that reduce visibility at the international wing of the Lai Mohammed Airport is not unique to Nigeria. As some flights were being diverted from the Lagos Airport, over 200 flights were either being diverted or cancelled at the Heathrow Airport at the same time. I'm, however, happy to announce that the two runways in Lagos have been calibrated for Category 3 ILS as of today, and NOTAM has been sent out. NOTAM is noticed to all airmen. So as I speak today, the two runways in the Lai Mohammed Airport are functional Category 3 ILS. I want to quickly comment also on the issue of the $500 million loan. In an era of social media, the real news is usually sacrificed on the altar of sensationalism and disinformation. That's why I will describe the hysteria in a section of the media over the reportage of the 500 million loan being sought from China. It is wrong to report that the loan is being sought for the NTA alone. Indeed, the loan is for three major projects. The first is to construct a headquarters complex and transmission network for the integrated television services, which is the federal government-owned signal distributor that is a major component of the country's digital switchover. It's also meant to build an ultra-modern media city that will have the following facilities: indoor-outdoor shooting area, animation production facility, digital media training center, world-class cinema, a 4-star hotel, an amusement park, and an amphitheater. Part of the loan would have been used also to acquire for the acquisition of a digital movie production equipment for rental as well as power system. It will also be used to build a media city training academy, which will be only the second of its type in Africa, the only one existing now being in Egypt, that will train Nigerian broadcasters and filmmakers in the production of high-quality media content programs and make Nigeria a hub for digital movie production in sub-Saharan Africa. The loan will also have been used to digitalize all NTA stations headquarters, the 12 zonal stations, the 36 state capital NTA stations, and 76 community NTA stations. It will also to be used for the upgrade, purchase, and installation of relevant digital TV broadcasting equipment compatible with digital switchover products and accessories that are necessary for the production and broadcast of digital program contents, in addition to provision of power systems and manpower training. I will also briefly comment on Amnesty International's accusation that the military burnt some villages and forcefully displaced the residents. I'm aware that the defense headquarters has already responded appropriately to this accusation. The military denied raising down villages and detaining locals unlawfully. The military denied that. The military emphasized that it does not employ arson as an operational tactic, and that looting and burning of villages is the style of Boko Haram terrorists and not that of the army. I would like to add that in carrying out their duties, Amnesty International should not cast themselves in the league of Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists. They should stop the growing practice of constantly attacking the military and casting them as the bad guys, when all they are doing is putting their lives on the line to fight terrorists who have no respect for the sanctity of life. Terrorists who will willfully go after women and children, who will attack houses of worship without respect or allegiance to any religion. Amnesty International should stop providing succor for terrorists by attributing their atrocities to our troops. Our soldiers who are defending the country are guided by extant rules of engagement and operational codes of conduct. They should not be made to look like the terrorists. I'm aware that the federal government has always taken seriously any allegations of rights violation by soldiers or other security forces. Investigations have been carried out and culprits, if any, punished. And it is a continuous process. Thank you very much.